With Pokemon Sword and Shield now available to play, there is a ton of new content for everybody to play, whether it's the traditional RPG aspect of the old Pokemon games, or the new features such as the raids, that is the multiplayer components. What we're going to be talking about in today's episode is breeding. This is going to be a noob's guide. Maybe if you haven't been around to breed in the last couple generations, maybe this is something brand new to you. Maybe you started the franchise in Pokemon Let's Go. So this is going to be a noob's guide to breeding, the Noob's Breeding Guide 101. Let's get into it. Why is breeding such an integral part of the Pokemon game franchise? And is it something that you absolutely have to do? No, it is not. If you are a very casual player and you just want to run through the game and then you're probably not going to touch it much, then this maybe isn't for you. But if you're somebody that likes to participate in competitive, you're somebody that likes to look for shinies, and you're somebody that likes to have just maybe something a little bit more rare, then maybe this guide can help you. So something that's important in the breeding process is to have a Pokemon with the ability Flame Body. So you can see here my Litwick has the ability Flame Body on it, and what that does is, once you have an egg, it'll actually half the amount of steps that it takes to hatch that egg. Now in Pokemon Sword and Shield, you're not just restricted to using a Litwick. You actually can use a Sizzlipede, Centiskorch, Carkol, Colossal, Litwick, Lampent, or Chandelure. All of these Pokemon can have the ability Flame Body to help you with your egg hatching. When you're doing your breeding, another thing you're going to want to be able to get is the Opal Charm. So to do that, you need to come up here to Sirchester. When you get to Sirchester, you're going to be obviously at the Poke Center. Run over to the right. This first building you pass here, there's double doors. Just go inside. Once inside, simply run up, take the elevator up, just hit the A button, and then hook around the corner to the left. The first door you come across, go inside, and inside there will be a trainer guide, Morimoto. So I'm just going to kind of fight him and see what we get here. I'm going to speed this up for the sake of the video, so you guys can actually see what's going on. I'm just curious as to see what I'm going to get from this. So here we go. He starts out with a Grapple Locked and a Galarian Corsola. Looks like level 65. Looks like the next thing he's going to bring out is a Stonjourner, which is another 2% catch rate Pokemon. So after the Stonjourner, he brings out a Colossal. Then he brings out his Dragapult, which you can get in the Lake of Outrage, either as a Dreepy at 2% in the grass, or as a Dracloak in the Overworld, also 2%. Then of course he ends with his Snorlax, and this is going to be his Dynamax Pokemon here. Unfortunately, all you get for coming back into the rematch with Morimoto is some more money. That's all you get. So if you want to come back, get some extra experience, maybe some extra money, go ahead. There's easier ways to get money in the game, but this is definitely something you could do if you just wanted to. Let's start off with some basics here. So first, you need a male and a female Pokemon. These Pokemon, if they're not the same species, have to be at least from the same egg group. To find what Pokemon are from what egg groups, there's a lot of different resources you guys can use. I generally use Bulbapedia. I'll put the link down in the description below. There's another thing to consider before you go to your daycare. Do you have the right Pokemon? And what I mean by this is, if you've got your two Pokemon and they're from the same egg group but they're different species, you want to make sure that the Pokemon you want to breed is the female Pokemon. The female actually determines what Pokemon species you're going to get. You might ask yourself, well, why wouldn't I just use a Ditto for everything, since it's genderless and it's neutral for all egg groups? Well, the simple reason is there's special things that you can get from breeding. For example, you can see earlier here, I wanted to breed a female Ice-Cube and a Darmanitan together. So not only could I get better IVs and maybe a better nature, but also I wanted to get egg moves. And I'm not going to go into too much detail on this right now, but you can see here in my box, let me get to it real quick, that this Pokemon will now have moves that it shouldn't have. So Belly Drum and Icicle Crash are both Darmanitan exclusive moves that I was able to breed onto this Pokemon. Alright, so you have your Pokemon ready. You're good to go. Now you just need to find the daycare. Well, there's two actually in this game. I think every other game there's only been one, but this game there's actually two. One of them is located in the wild area, and the other is located on a route. So let me show you those real quick. The first here in the wild area, very simple to find. It's in the middle of the two areas. So this is your starting area here, Motostoke. Right over this way, you go across that bridge, and there it is. Easy peasy. It's right there. The second one is not very difficult either. You actually will run across it in the main story. Once you go to Motostoke and you continue your adventure, you're going to pass up to this gym here at Turffield, and then you're just going to continue on this line, and it's right here on Route 5. So you're going to pass it no matter what. You can't miss it. You'll notice it because the women are standing outside to basically talk to you and get your Pokemon. So now that we've dropped off our eggs, what are we going to do? Well, there's a couple different things we can do. We can wait around in the area, just drive around, maybe fight some new Pokemon in the area you haven't caught yet. Fight them, beat them, catch them, do whatever you got to do. If there's raids nearby, you could do the raids. You could just sit here and drive around in circles and wait. The nice thing is, no matter what you do, if you're in the area, you'll actually see her. Oh, she just did it. She went from her hands down to holding her hands like this. And when she does this, that means she has an egg for you. So once you get your egg, you can do whatever you want to do at that point. Just make sure your egg's in your inventory. That way it still gets credit for the hatching. And then you can just drive around in circles. Some people like to rubber band their thing so it goes around in a circle, but you don't need to do that. It takes very little time. So just drive around for a little bit, or you can go and progress in your story if you're still in the main story progression, and just keep going. And eventually your egg is going to hatch. If you're in this area here, you'll see her do her arm cross thing, and she'll be able to give you another egg. So you can keep accumulating eggs while you're trying to hatch eggs, and keep flopping them in and out until you get the Pokemon that you want. So I sped this part of the video up just to make it a little easier for you guys, but you can see all I'm doing is going around in figure eights. Every now and then I use the special feature on the bike just to get a few extra more steps, just a little bit faster. So once you get the O sign and the egg hatches, make sure you go in and look at your Pokemon and see if it's got the nature that you want, and also if it's got the right amount of IVs that you want. So you're looking for best. Best is obviously the best you're going to get in any IV value. I would say anything 4 or more is good. So if you get 4 best IVs, that's definitely a Pokemon worth keeping, and maybe hyper training any other values you want to bring up. So I just want to confirm with you guys that it is possible to breed a 6 IV Pokemon. It is rare, but it is possible to get a 6 best IV Pokemon. I did it earlier today. I got a Sobble that I was breeding, and you can look at the summary of it here. And it's best all across the board. So this was amazing. It is not quite the nature I want, but I can change the nature with the mints now. So this is fantastic. I am very happy with this. I will be happy to train this Pokemon. So in order to make your chances of getting 4, 5, or 6 IVs in the best category more common, you can use an item called a Destiny Knot. So let's say you have a 5 IV Ditto. You put the Destiny Knot on that Ditto, and it'll actually go up to 5 of the IVs will be transferred down from the parent to the egg Pokemon. The easiest way to get a Destiny Knot is simply at the end of the game, after you've gotten your legendary doggo, go to the battle tower, get 10 BP, head back down to Hammerlock. Once you're in Hammerlock, head inside the Poke Center here, and off to the right, there's going to be a BP vendor. Talk to the vendor, go inside, and you will see a Destiny Knot for 10 BP. So this is very easy. There's also EV training items in here, which we'll get into in another video, but the Destiny Knot can be located here. Another item that you might want to consider getting is an Everstone. An easy place to get the Everstone is if you come over this way at the daycare, just follow the path here and then look over to the left, you'll see the Minor Brothers. Either one can get you an Everstone, but the Stamina Brother has a better chance. Another thing you're going to hear about in Pokemon breeding is the Masuda method. You're going to hear the Masuda method a lot, and that is a method for breeding shiny Pokemon. Simply put, you take your Pokemon, if you're, let's say, in America, you're speaking English. You take your Pokemon, you put it in the daycare, and then let's say you're going to use a Ditto. You take a foreign Ditto, so you can see here I have a Spanish Ditto or a French Ditto, and you put that in the daycare center as well. That will actually give you a higher chance of a shiny than if it was a Ditto just straight from your game, from your region. Now to clarify, it doesn't have to come from a console from that region. The language of the game simply has to be set to a different language other than the one that you're putting in. This was our guide on 101 breeding. I hope this was helpful for you guys. The next one is going to be on EV training or effort value training. It's going to be great, especially for competitive type players. If you guys ever have any questions, feel free to drop into the Discord link down below, or also just drop into the Twitch and ask me during a live stream. We do stream Monday, Wednesday, and then Friday through Sunday. If this guide was helpful at all and you appreciated it, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are trying to get to our first 100 subscribers, and I know I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Other than that, have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.